ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। अथ ध्यानम्। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्ददामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयप्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्ससुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। भीष्मद्रोणतटा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरणनदी कैवर्तककेशवः पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटम् नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितम् लोके सज्जनषट्पदैरहरहः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयात् भारतपङ्कजं कलिमल प्रध्वंसिनः श्रेयसे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैर्गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुः सुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः। शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभांगं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिभिर्ध्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथं सर्वलोकैकनाथं सर्वलोकैकनाथम्। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम्।
Are you able to see my screen? Okay. So today Dr. G will cover chapter 3. Chapter 3 has 43 verses, and we heard a little bit about the Karma Yoga in chapter 2, and Dr. G will continue on the Karma Yoga topic with many important verses today. So we'll start with a contemplation poem. So this one is called Daring Greatly. So if you have a chance, you can read Theodore Roosevelt's The Man in the Arena, right? And in that he uses this word, daring greatly. Action speaks, not the cynic or the critic. The selfless action of the leaders past was directed for the good of the world. And only through their action, they achieved perfection. It is by daring greatly with fearless thought and selfless action, we can emulate them and achieve the same. Over to you, Dr. G.
Namaste. Can I share my screen? Can you see my screen? Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Shri Matre Namaha. Gomatre Namaha. Gita Matre Namaha. Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha. Sabhayai Namaha. Can you hear me okay? Saluting Ganesha, Saraswati, and all the gurus, Gita Mata, Veda Mata, Shri Krishna Paramatma, and this August assembly. We shall now contemplate on the third chapter. It's a reflection on action, perfection. Before we get into the chapter, I would like to share my great guru. There's so many who taught me, but in Detroit and even afterwards, Sister Kameshwar Rao Garu, a gastroenterologist by profession, a juvenile diabetic on insulin for almost 7 decades, has left his mortal body. When I was leaving Detroit, he actually insisted that I should start teaching. And I said, I'm still in the state of sadhana, and where is a question of bodhana? And he said, sadhana is in bodhana also. And if you don't, it won't be good. So he warned, he very, very dear to me. And if at all I become a little emotional or skip the sequence, you have to pardon me. But, these are the teachers who live in us, who live through us. And whatever good I share with you, it is all the greatness of gurus. And Sister Kameshwara Garu, a living text, a practicing Gita text. In Shankarabharanam, you probably remember that little boy entering Shankara Shastri's house. He touches the pillar, there comes the music. He touches the window, he touches the door. There is this beautiful, the swaras coming out. That is how you just talk to him about anything, Laukika, Vaidika, Paramarthika, and anything. You just touch him, and then there comes the enormous fund of knowledge of Gita through him, and the verses and the numbers, and just great teacher. Unto him, this chapter. Confusion and fusion. This is how the chapter begins. Arjuna is in a state of confusion now, after having been taught a karma yoga, after a slap on the cheek with the 2 verses, which are like antidepressants. Kutastva, Kashmalamidam, Klaibyam, Masmagam Apartha. They are like antidepressants. And then Saranagati. And then Atma Vicharana, Atma Nityata, Atma Tattva. That has been taught. Then after that, Esha te vihita sankhye buddhir yoge tvimam shrinu. After that Sankhya yoga, then Buddhi yoga was taught. Buddhau saranaman vicha krupana phalahetavaha. Arjuna got attracted to that. You know, a little child of yours, when you say, okay, I'll give you a chocolate if you complete your homework. And after doing some homework, the child comes to you, where's my chocolate? You said you would give me chocolate. Well, I said, I'll give you the chocolate, but I said, after completing the homework. So they only get onto what they want. Now, that one verse, 46th verse in the 2nd chapter, Buddhau saranamanvicha krupana phalahetavaha. Seek your abode and stand yourself in that Buddhi yoga. And then towards the end, after that, there was Bhakti, and there was Karma yoga, and then there was Samadhi yoga. Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati Stitva Syamanta Kalepi Brahma Nirvana Mrichati. Then Arjuna caught hold of this. Oh, this looks great. Oh my goodness. You did mention the 2 paths, the Karma yoga and also this Buddhi yoga. And you say that Buddhi is great. And Krupana Phalahetavaha, Krupana, those who desire these fruits of action. But he got onto that. So karma, reflecting on action. But reflecting an action which is a yoga. Nishkama karma yoga or karma yoga, which is a reflective action, not a reflex action. And it is also Buddhi yoga. Buddhi yoga, the definition of Buddhi yoga is applied knowledge or Nishkama karma yoga, selfless action, action for some higher goal. Action which is dedicated to the higher self. Sankhya yoga, we talked about Samyak Kyatam, well-analyzed science. So this is how Arjuna asks, O Krishna, Jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tatkim karmani ghore mam niyojayasi kesava. O Janardana, O Kesava, why do you urge me to engage in this ghastly warfare? tato yuddhaya yujyasva, yogaya yujyasva, tyaktva uttishta parantapa. When you think that intelligence is better than fruitive work or action, and he addresses Janardana, Kesava. So Krishna's other names are very well known as Janardana. Janaihi Achyate, the one who is worshipped by all the Janas, all the people. Janan Ardayati, the one who punishes those who deserve the punishment. And Kesava, the one who has got a beautiful Kesha, or the one who killed the Rakshasa called Keshi. The Keshi is the one, entanglement. You see how sometimes if you don't take care of your beautiful flowing hair for some time, how much of entanglement, the Jata Jutadhari. So Shiva lives so happily with so much of entanglement. But Kesava also means Kascha, Ascha, Isascha, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. Who else can answer? Ka means Brahma, A means Vishnu, Isha means Shiva. Kascha, Ascha, Isascha, Kesava. Then he also takes the freedom to ask. You see, we talked about samvada, a dialogue where the student and the teacher are at the same wavelength. The student has freedom to talk to the teacher with so much of liberty. Vyamisreneva vakyena buddhim mohayasiva me tadekam vada nischitya ena shreyoham apnuyam. My intelligence is bewildered. Buddhi, moha, mohayasi, and you are bewildering my intelligence. By what? By your equivocal instructions. Vyamishrena iva vakyena. The jumbled up vakyas, the mix-up. You told me Sankhya, Bhakti, Karma, Samadhi, Yoga, all in the second chapter. Now, I just want to hear one. Ekam tat vada nischitya. First you make up your mind, O Krishna, and then you tell me, yena, by which aham shreyaha apnuyam, shreyascha preyascha manusyametat tau samparitya vivinakti dhiraha. So we talked about that from Kathopanishad, Shreyas and Preyas. So now teach me, what is Shreyas for me? One day, one of my teachers in surgery, a great teacher, Rangaya sir. So when I was a medical student, third year medical student, I would take history and examine a patient, and then I go to him, sir, shall we discuss this case? And he looks at me. He's very, 6 foot 3 inches. So he looks at me like this. Tumse kya discuss karna hai? Main bolta hu, tum suno. So I teach and you listen. So anyway, that's how the teachers were, great teachers, So they imparted their knowledge onto us, which we carry on. So now here Arjuna, with such a liberty, and Krishna, he does not get offended. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Lokesmin Vividha Nishtha Pura Prokta Maya Nagha Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. Oh, sinless Arjuna, oh, I know now why you are asking this question. Oh, my dear Anagha. Ages ago, I explained 2 paths. Now see, Krishna is not talking like, the Vrindavan Krishna. He's talking about ages ago as Bhagavan. I explained 2 paths. Some are inclined to know him by him, that. Him is Saha, Tat, that. Now we will end these chapters with Saha. So him by philosophical speculation. And others are inclined to know him by devotional work, dutiful work. So these are the 2 paths. And look at, no being born on this earth can live without action. Action is a must for all of us. na karmanāmanārambhāt naishkarmyam purushośnute na ca sannyasana deva siddhim samadhigacchati. Work we must. Work we must. Because not even a second we can live without work. You cannot achieve this siddhi just by going and sitting in a cave. And you have to express yourself in the midst of the society, like what you see in Manhattan, and show your greatness of your work. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatutishtatya karma kritta. Even for a second, you cannot sit quietly. Well, if you think your heart can think like that, can I sit quietly for a second or a little more than a few seconds? And we know what happens. Sharira yatra pichate na prasidhyeda karmanaha. Sharira yatra, the journey of this body, the physiological journey, the enzymatic action, so much of ATP action is going on, so much of enzymatic hormonal action is going on, the neuronal action going on. Even if you are actually sleeping, if you put an EEG, you see that the brain wave. And there will be ups and downs, as we talked about. Ups and downs in life are very important to keep us going, because a straight line means we are no more. And Krishna talks about two kinds of personalities, jackal and hide. Karmendriyani samyamya yaste manasa smaran indriyarthan vimodhatma mithyacharasya uchyate. One who restrains the senses and organs of action, but whose mind dwells on sense objects, certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender, hypocrite. But on the other hand, a genuine person practicing the prophecy, yastvindriyani manasa niyamya rabhate Arjuna karmendriyai karma yogam asaktasya visishyate. On the other hand, he who controls his mind and engages his active organs in the work, but he, even though acting in this world, he is attached to the Supreme, and he is by far superior. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa gives an example of a so-called sadhu sitting under the tree in front of a building of prostitutes, like the movie Gangubai. Gangubai. So this lady, he focuses on that particular lady, and who actually engages a gentleman every often, and he keeps a count, and then he just collects pebbles so many times, so many gentlemen came. And that poor lady, while she does what she does, she always thinks of this beautiful Krishna, whose grace is upon her. And when both of them incidentally die at the same time, Yamadutas come and go take sadhu, so-called sadhu, to Yamaloka. And the Vishnu Dutas come and take this lady to Vishnaloka. Because now you can see, Karmendriyani samyamya ya aste manasasmaran indriyarthan vimodhatma. So he is vimodhatma. He is a hypocrite. He is mithyachara. Whereas sadachara and shishtacharya, yastvindriyani manasa niyamya, O Arjuna, arabhate karmendriyai karma yogam asaktaha saha vishishyate. So Swami Bodhananda says, engaging in this world completely with total detachment. So detached engagement, buddhi yoga, detached engagement. Only great people can coin such terms, detached engagement. And Krishna says, Arjuna, act. Act, we must. Niyatam kuru karmatvam kuru. In fact, the whole teaching begins as dharma kshetre kuru kshetre. Kuru, karo, do, act, do it. Do what is right. Dharma kshetre. And do it right. Kshetre dharmam kuru. So righteous as you perform a yagna. So niyatam kuru, karma, tvam, thou, you, karma, action, kuru, perform, niyatam. What is defined? Niyatam. So there is nitya karma, there is niyata karma, and there is visesha karma, there is nishiddha karma. Nitya karma, the daily acts. Naimittika karma, a special act like shraddha, a vrata we do on a particular day. Then Vishesha karma, something for higher good, something for the good of the world. Like yagna, we perform. Then karyam karma samachara, karyam karma samachara. Karyam, what is to be done by us? What is our duty in this society? And what is our duty as a matru dharma, pitru dharma, shishya dharma, guru dharma, and vritti dharma? Yadevi sarva bhuteshu vritti rupena samstita namastasyai 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 namo namah. So karyam karma samachara. And how should you do it? Mukta sangha samachara. Mukta Sangaha Samachara. Venpati Kutumba Shastri Garu, a great Sanskrit scholar, some of you may know, and I happen to learn from him as well. So he used to say only Vyasa Maharshi and Krishna can say these so righteous words, like in Alpaksharam Asandigdham, like sutra, like few words, and doubtless. Astokam, anavadyam, it is limitless, profound knowledge, and you cannot put a letter or take a letter out of it. So anavadyam, that is Vishwato Mukham, it is universally applicable. That is a sutra, a mantra, a Astakshare mantra. See, here there are so many letters in English, but in Sanskritam, Niyatam. Kuru, karma, tvam. 8. Similarly, karyam, karma, samachara. Astakshari mantra. Mukta, sangaha, samachara. Actually, if you really look at each word, chara, move on, charaiveti, as Narendra Modi always quotes. But samachara, be in the right path. And do it right. Then Sangha Samachara, complete engagement, engaged action. But Mukta Sangha, detached engagement. You see, Mukta Sangha Samachara, Karyam Karma Samachara, Niyatam Kuru Karmatvam. Because Karma naivahi samsiddhim aschita janakadayaha loka sangrahame vapi sampashyan kartum arhasi. Even kings like Janaka, oh Arjuna, now I have to take examples because you are a prince. I have to take some royal examples. Like Janaka and others, etc. Attained the perfectional stage by performance of prescribed duties. Janaka was a teacher for Shukha Brahma also. Vyasa Maharshi's son. Therefore, just for the sake of educating the people in general, you should perform your work. And Swami Ranganathananda quoted this. I learned from this sloka from Swami Ranganathananda when he was teaching in person. There are two people here. Viveki sarvada mukto kurvato nasti kartruta. Alepa madavashritya Shri Krishna janako yadha. There are these vivekis, vichakshana jnana sampannas. Sarvada, always muktaha. They are actually released from this bondage of worldly action. Kurvato nasti kartruta. Even though they are acting, there is no kartrutva bhava, bhoktrutva bhava for them, because they are living for others, they are working for others. Swami Vivekananda says, they only live who live for others. How do they? Alepavadamasritya. So they actually first anoint this alepa, detachment. There is an ointment called detachment. So that anointing that. So they actually engage. And who are they? Sri Krishna Janako Yadha. So Sri Krishna and Janaka are given example. So this is from some other text. Viveke sarvada mukto kurvato nastit kartruta alepavadamasritya Sri Krishna Janako Yatha. So work we must. Act we ought to. Work we must. Swami Sarveshananda always used to say this from Dallas. Work we ought to. That too with conviction, for self-purification, for world glorification, and for self-liberation. So Swami Vivekananda, he actually established Ramakrishna Math with this motto. That is, Atmano mokshartham jagat hitaya cha. For self-purification, Atmano mokshartham jagat hitaya cha, for world glorification. Worry not about the effects. Mahaphaleshu kadachana. Phala means effects. The side effects, the short-term and long-term side effects. And yield not to the frustration. Mate sangostva karmani. When the going gets tough, only the tough get going. Karyam karma samachara. Work now and always with your mind fixed with purity and sincerity, vitality and dexterity, because dexterity, the skill in action is yoga. Yoga karma sakausalam. Accept the results as prasada bhava, whether good, bad, or mixed. Surrender unto Almighty, as this is true divinity. So equipoise is the secret of life. The skill in action is a thrill in yoga. Practice of this, being true to heart, is an art. Even a little bit of it is sufficient. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya prayate mahato bhayat. Now we should perform any action like yagna. Any action. Cooking something in kitchen. Drawing something. Playing something. In our vocation, in our profession. Because this yagna is Vishnu. Yagno vai Vishnu. Yagna itself is Vishnu. Bhuvanasya nabhi, the navel of the cosmos. And in Vishnu Sahasranama we see this yagno, yajnapatiri yajva, yagnyango, yajnavahana, yajnavrutti, yajnakriti yajni, yajnabhuk, yajnasadhana, yajnantakriti, yajnaguhyam, annamanada yevacha. So yagna is a ritual. But there is a spiritual component to it. So Swami Chinmayananda defines, not probably exact words, but this is what I heard from him and recollected, a unique endeavor, with full involvement and full effort, in cooperation and coordination with others, for the good of the community, for the good of the society, for the good of the corporation, for the good of institution, and the results of which are dedicated, first received with prasada buddhi and are dedicated to higher supreme consciousness, as we do in yajna with the Rutviks, Brahma, and then other Rutviks who are there, Hota, Udgatru, and all. And for global interest, Brahmaji, he actually created us and yajna together. Yajna is our brother, or yajna is like as a masculine. So yajna is our brother, you can say. So we are actually, so born together. Saha yajna praja sristva purovacha prajapati. Anena prasavisyadham yeshavostvista kamadhukka. In the beginning of creation of all beings, along with sacrifices and blessed, be thou happy by this yajna, because it will bestow upon you all desirable things. So Brahmaji told us, you are born together, your siblings, yajna and you. So be together, respect each other, revere each other, and live for each other. then this yagna actually will be like kamadhukka, kamadhenu for you. And Kanchi Paramacharya says, Janani Prithvi Kamadhugaste, Janako Devaha Sakala Dayalahu. This Prithvi is our Janani. So that's why we are all called Parthas. And this Prithvi is like Kamadhenu. What all it gives, Prithvi Mata. Dhamyata Datta Dayadvam Janata. So have or inculcate these three great qualities. Dhamyata or Dhamma, self-control. Datta, Dana Bhava, charity. Sharing and caring. Sharing and caring. Dayadvam, compassion. So as Swami Bodhananda said, take care of your health first. Take care of the environment and creative work. Sharing and caring and compassionate justice. If not, you will be a chore, you will be a thief. You will be called Indriya Rama, Kama Rama. Taydattana pradayebhyo yobhumte stena yeva saha. Stena means chore, thief. But he who enjoys these gifts given by this nature, all these devatas, Prithvi Mata, Nadi devatas. In fact, the rivers in India are feminine. Ganga Mata, we say, Narmada Mata, Yamuna Mata. But in Rome and in West, actually rivers are masculine. In fact, the rivers are beautifully depicted, so in masculine form. So these are devatas. Vayu Devata. Surya Devata, he never asked for any bill. So if we don't pay our tribute and our respect and our reverence for them, then we are chores. So give back to the nature. As Sadhguru now held the mission of save our soil, SOS, save soil, save our soil, save ourselves, save our ship, save our souls. Because there is a life, there is a cycle, there is a cycle. We are all born of Anna, Annamaya Sarira. Annad bhavanti bhutani, parjanyad anna sambhava, yajnad bhavati parjanya, yajna karma samudbhava. All living bodies subsist on food grains and are grown on food grains, which are produced from rain. And rains are produced by performance of yagna, sacrifice. And yagna is born of prescribed duties. There are two ways of this yagna. We respect environment, we get rains, and we get, so all these climate changes won't happen if we behaved properly, wouldn't have happened. Aurobindo says that with even the rituals, yagna, so which actually involves oblations, which are so sacred and so great, and they have medicinal value, and then when they are evaporated and then go into the clouds, there is some cloud churning happens, and then so there happens rain in those places. That is another explanation. But here now, this action, where is it prescribed? In our Vedas. Veda is also called Brahma. Karma Brahmodbhavam Vidhi. And where does Brahma, these Vedas come from? Brahma Akshara Samudbhavam. They come from Akshara. Veda Vinashinam Nityam Yayena Majam Avyayam. So this Akshara, this Sanatana, so Tasmat Sarvagatam Brahma Nityam Yajne Pratishtitam. So that Brahman is in Vedas. That Veda Dharma, that is in our action. And all this is nothing but Brahman. We'll see that in the 4th chapter also once again. So nature and torture. We have to develop an eco-concept, not the ego concept. We have to mature from ego to eco-nature. Do we know now? Did we realize even now? We are not the only race to seize all from this universe. Do we know what symbiosis is? Do we know what sacrifice is? Where are we going? What are we doing? Where did we come from? And where did we end up? We troubled all others. We bothered all creatures. We tortured Mother Nature. and we didn't look into the future. Anger, desire, and greed, ego, jealousy, and pride, money, property, and trade, all these took us for a ride. We were restless and aimless, being busy in selfish business. We forgot meaning of greatness, and we forgot our own existence. There were wars with great mortality. There were calamities with much more morbidity. Now it's tiny, mighty virus with its disease severity. It's time to seek serenity and look up to the divinity. Do we know now? Did we realize even now? I do not know. But it's time for us to realize. Swami Vivekananda says, as he said, those who live for others only live. And contemplate on this and talk to yourself at least once in a day. Otherwise, you may miss a meeting with an excellent person in this world. And then you will be happy, so happy with yourself. Yastva atmarapireva syat atmatruptascha manavaha atmanyeva cha santushtaha tasya karyam na vidyate. What more do you want? You will realize your nature. You will be happy with yourself. Atmanyeva atmana tushtaha sthita prajñas tadochyate atmanyeva atmana tushtaha. So rejoicing in oneself, by the self, in his own self. I have to now move on to the next section of the presentation. I hope I can bring it up. Maybe it is open somewhere. So pardon me. I think you can you see? Can you see, Shilpaji?
Yes, Dr. Ji, we are seeing the slide Gita chapter 3 Karma Yoga. The first slide.
Live, love, laugh like a laughing Buddha. Can you see laughing Buddha?
No, this is the very first slide. You need to go down.
That thing, Dr. Ji, we are not able to see your new presentation.
Can you see laughing Buddha now?
Yes.
So love and laugh. Happiness is that. Be happy, my friend, for happiness is the essence of life. Be content, dear friend, for contentment is the real content of life. Happiness is not at the end of our journey. The real happiness is there all along the journey. Indeed, happiness is the greatest heap of riches. Sages are the witness for this for ages. Contentment is the greatest treasure. Being with oneself is an utmost pleasure. We go on and on in search of pleasure, day and night, alas. We are never at leisure. Oh friend, pause for a while and see within yourselves. You find deep within a treasure that is marvelous. What you have now is what you desired one day. What you have now is more than many others any day. My friend, it could be worse than what it is today. Live not like a miserly krupana phalahetavaha, and die every day. And we talked about desire leads to another desire when fulfilled. Greed breeds more greed and forces us to yield. The whole world was not enough for Alexander the Great. The whole world was not enough for Alexander the Great. But a land of 3 feet is much more for a saint to sit and meditate. So that is the greatness of contemplation. So now, role modeling. So when we act, the children do not listen to what we say. Others do not actually follow what we say. They actually do what we do. Being a role model is a privilege. My father taught me this. This is the first shloka I learned from my father when I was a child. Yad yad acharati shreshtaha tatta devetaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastadanuvattate. You know, if you are the eldest son in the family, this is what you get. So be a role model. So whatever action is performed by a great man or the elders, common men follow in his footsteps. And whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues and follows. And Krishna says, oh Arjuna, I am not just preaching and teaching. I practice what I preach and teach. Look at me. Name parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nanavaptam avaptavyam vartayeva cha karmani. There is nothing in these three worlds that I did not attain, and there's nothing more for me to look up to or attain. Even then, I engage in action. Yadi hyaham na varteyam jatu karmanya tandritah mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvashaha. If I don't act, others will follow me. And then utside yurime lokaha. So then all this world will perish. So that's why I act. Look at me. And look at others like Janaka and great role models. Watch the world, my dear friend. Watch the people all around. And there are friends and foes. So you be yourself. You follow those role models and you act. Kuru as your elders have done it. Kuru karmaiva tasmatvam purvai purvataram kritam. You have so many role models before you in your own clan. And but do not try to impose it on others. You may live like a lake. You may live like a river. People may come and take good, whatever good they want from you. But you do not force them like a storm. I know it is easier said than done, but we try to impinge our opinion on others. So there are people with different opinions. Respect others' opinions because abhipraya, others' opinion is also divine. Abhipraya priyarhora priyakrit pritivardhana. Abhipraya is one of the names of Vishnu in Vishnu Sahasranama. So respect others. Nabuddhi bhedam janayet ajnanam karma sanginam. So those who are acting in a different way, let them act. They come back to this path. They are balas, children. If you talk about and take examples of others, like a little child, the father is watching and mother is saying, oh, look at, he has gone into this small gully. He said, no, he'll come back. When he sees the end of the road, he'll come back. Or I know that there is another path, he'll take a turn and come here. So that is how. So the world and you, the world and us. If you are nice, they may think you are weak. If you are stern, they may think you are harsh. If you do not object, they may think you are meek. If you argue, they may think you are stubborn. If you question, they may think you are shameless. If you do not, they may think you are senseless. It is the nature of the people. Let them think, let them talk. Kuch to log kahenge, logon ka kaam hai kahna. It's one of the Rajesh Khanna's movie, beautiful song. You be yourself, my friend, and you live true to yourself. There is a higher self. There is a higher goal. There is much more in store. Play your part well. Mukta sangas samachara. Karyam karma samachara. Niyatam kuru karmatvam. But do not quit at all. Mate sangostva karmani. Tasmat yogaya yujyasva. So that hridaya daurbalyam kshudram tyaktva uttishta parantapa. With self-confidence, with smile and grace, you walk, work and speak. My friend, live, love, and love. So fight. Now, Arjuna, fight. But fight with all your might, like a knight, for the sake of the Almighty, the might of the mighty. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasa nirase nirmamo bhutva yudhyasva vigatajvaraha. This again, crux of third chapter. Swami Chinmayananda says, many saints, many commentators say. Vigata jvaraha yudhyasva. So let me read the meaning first. Therefore, Arjuna, surrendering all your works unto me, with mind intent on me, and without a desire for gain and free from egoism and lethargy. Fight, fight. Yudhyasva. And without any fear, any lethargy. Jvara is fever, fever. You know, when you're feverish, you can't do anything. So you are lethargic, you are weak. And so giving up this. Hridaya daurbalyam kshudram vikata jvara yudhyasva. Nirase bhutva nirmamo bhutva. So nirasi is, asha is something you are expecting. Krupana phalahetava. I, me, myself. What is in it for me, for everything? Nirasi. Don't look into the future and then worry about the phalas. Nirmamo. Don't look at the past and then get attached to all your past experiences and you and your own people. So nirmamo mamakara, ahankara, and this asha is such a bhuta that if it engulfs us, if it is attached to us, it will engulf us. So that is nirasi nirmamo bhutva. Then adhyatma chetasa. So with the mind intent on me, not the rituals, O Arjuna, with your mind focused on me. Sanyasya, keeping all, surrendering all, devoting all actions, all acts, mayi in me, sarva karmani, all actions, mayi sanyasya. How? Adhyatma chetasa, with a higher intent. Nirasi nirmamo bhutva. Yudhyasva vigatajvara. Please try to memorize this. Mayi sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasa nirasi nirmamo bhutva yudhyasva vigatajvara. This is the first verse I learned from Gita teacher sitting in my daughter's class. I still remember that day vividly. So now, Krishna says, Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharma svanushthitat swadharme nidhanam shreyaha paradharmo bhayavaha. This is again verse which is commentated upon in various different ways. It's far better to discharge one's own prescribed duties, even though they may be faulty, than another's duties. Destruction in the course of performing one's own duty, which is better than engaging in another's duties. But to follow another's path is dangerous. Swami Sarva Priyananda says that it is not talking about this dharma, Hindu dharma, Muslim dharma, Christian dharma, because that time it was not there. But even if you think that way, there is no need for conversion. There is a need for conversation, as Swami Dayananda says. There is a need for conversation, not conversion. There is a need for dialogue. There is no diversion. There is no need for you becoming a Muslim, a Christian, or a Christian becoming a Hindu. But there is something more. So we talked about Swadharma is Svavrutti, our vocation, which is according to be our Swabhava, then it's great. If your nature fits into your vocation, why not? So that's a great thing. There are so many who have become engineers, then went into medicine and vice versa, and then so many other ways. So there are teachers who have teaching mentality, they go into medicine and they become teachers in medicine. So that is Swabhava. But there is something more, our Swadharma. We talked about Atma. So Atma is our Swadharma, our Swarupa, Swarupa, Swadharma, Swabhava, Swarupa. So if you deviate from Atma Tattva, Atma Nityata, then we'll be lost. So that is how it is. And I'll take 5 more minutes. I am sorry, I'm just going a little bit beyond today, maybe a couple of more minutes. So this is our nature and our indriyas. We talked about in 2nd chapter, indriyani pramadhini haranti prasabham manaha. So the indriyas are so powerful. Even nigraha sometimes cannot help. But then what will help? Well, in forthcoming chapters, it will teach us what helps. Abhyasa and vairagya. Practice, and then looking up to higher self. But there is something you have to give up lower step of the ladder to step onto the higher step in the ladder. That is giving up raga and dvesha. Raga dvesha vidasyacha. So the key of the 33rd shloka is in 34th shloka, as Swami Sarvapriyananda says so vividly. Worship. Swami Bodhananda coined this term as worship. Work is worship. Work is worship. Surrender. Swami Vivekananda said work is worship. Surrendering our ship and all the ownership, surrendering burdens and all fruits of our actions to the Supreme is worship. Must we all engage fully in action? Never shall we escape from action. When we begin any action, there begin problems and hurdles. All actions lead to side effects, short-term and long-term effects. Carrying the burden of sorrows, worrying always about worries, fearing about fear and troubles will only make ourselves miserable. Medication is of no help. Meditation can be of great help. Confusion is no good. Contemplation takes us to God. React not with reflex. Draw spirit from within. Respond in the hour of need. Work with reflective attitude. Embrace contemplative mode for detached engagement. Now Arjuna asks, Krishna, well said. I now understand. But why? Why even the learned people? And why do you think I just am yielded to this? Athakena prayuktoyam papam charati purusha anichannapi varshneya baladiva niyojita. O descendant of Vrishni Vamsha Varshneya, impelled by what? Impelled by what? People yield to the acts which are either good, no good, ugly. So good, bad, and ugly acts. Even unwillingly, how are people yielded to these sinful acts as if engaged by a force? So what is that? What is that? And this is Kena. Kena means by who, by what. So it's Kena Upadesha in next 5 verses. Great verses. Krishna doesn't even take a second to answer this question. Oh Arjuna, it is that karma. Karma is a deep desire. If you don't fulfill, you will get into withdrawal effects. That is deep desire. Karma means desire. Karma means deep desire. Karma means a desire you are dependent on that, without which you cannot live. And karma means lust and all these. Kama esha, krodha esha, rajoguna samudbhava, mahasano mahapapma, vidhyena mihavairinam. So it is the deep desire. Intense desire, selfish desire. Last, O Arjuna, which is born of mode of passion, rajoguna. And later they trap us into wrath, raging anger, and which is all devouring. We have seen that dhyato vishayan pumsa sangaste shupajayate. So the ladder of fall. And karma, if you fulfill one, another desire comes up like Mahishasura, so he takes Mahisha form, he takes human form, he takes Mahishasura form, human and bull form. So it is like that. Najata kama kamanam upabhogena samyati havisha krishna vatmeva bhuyayeva bhivadhate. So it's like fire. If you pour more oblations and more ghee, clarified butter into it, it only flares up. It never is put into completely put off. You can never put off it. So, and this karma, this ajnana, this ignorance can cover us in 3 different forms, depending upon our vasanas, our nature, our practice, our sadhana. And this shloka, dhumena vriyate vannihi yadhadarsho malena cha yadholbena vruto garbha tatha tene damavrutam. The fire is covered by smoke. Just with one whiff, the smoke goes away and the fire flares up. A mirror covered by the dust, it takes little effort. You just swipe and then it is clear. But the fetus in the embryo in the fetus in the uterus covered by the amniotic membranes, it takes 9 months to come out. So these are different degrees of avarana shakti. And Duryodhana also knows this. I know this. I know this. Janami dharmam nachame pravritti. I know what is dharma, but I have no intent to act. Janami adharmam nachame nivritti. I know what is adharma, but I cannot retrieve from it because kenapi devena didisthitena. So this deep desire, kama, and then krodha, yadhani yuktosmi tatha karomi. As it drives and impels me, that's how I act. And Krishna takes these great verses from again Kathopanishad. We have talked about in the first chapter when we talked about the chariot. Senayor Ubhayor Madhye Ratham Sthapaya Me Achyuta. So he talks about Indriyas, Manas, Buddhi, one above the other. And then there is something above Buddhi. So that is called Saha, he, Tat, that. Indriyani paranyahuhu, indriyebhya param manaha, manasastu para buddhihi, yo buddhe paratastu saha. Indriyas are horses. Senses are horses. Mana is pragraha, so the reins. And buddhi, buddhim tu saradhim vidhi. Buddhi is a charioteer. And then there's Jivatma who is sitting in the chariot. Shariram rathamevatu, atmanam rathinam vidhi. So here, this example is Buddhi, is now there, but there is something above Buddhi. Evam Buddhe param buddhva samstabhyatmanam atmana jahi shatrum mahabaho kamarupam durasadam. So, in Kathopanishad also, this same verse is there with a little different twist. So here, the sense objects. O is for objects. Then sense organs, then our vasanas and the deep desire, and the one which is controlling all this is Saha, that Omkara. So that is Saha. So Rasovai Saha, and that is said to be the supreme Sa Kastha. Sa paragatihi in Kathopanishad. That is ultimate. That is ultimate. So I will read the shlokas once again. Indriyani paranyahuhu, indriyebhya param manaha, manasastu para buddhihi, yo buddhe paratastu saha. So that is how we will end. So we will conclude this chapter. Karma Yoga, the action, and the reflection on it. This is how the chapter ends. So, Tritiyo Adhyayah. Om Tassaditi Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Karma Yogo Nama Tritiyo Adhyayah. Sarvam Krishnarpanamastu.
Shall I start Gita Dhyanam, Shilpaji? अथ गीता महात्म्यं गीताशास्त्रमिदं पुण्यं यः पठेत् प्रयतः पुमान् विष्णोर्पदमवाप्नोति भयशोकादिवर्जितः गीताध्ययनशीलस्य प्राणायामपरस्य च नैव सन्ति हि पापानि पूर्वजन्मकृतानि च मलनिर्मोचनं पुंसां जलस्नानं दिने दिने सकृद्गीताम्भसि स्नानं संसारमलनाशनं गीतासु गीता कर्तव्या किमन्यै शास्त्रविस्तरै या स्वयं पद्मनाभस्य मुखपद्माद्विनिसृता भारतामृत सर्वस्वं विष्णोर्वक्त्राद्विनिसृतं गीता गंगोदकं पीत्वा पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सस्तुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् एकं शास्त्रं देवकी पुत्र गीतं एको देवो देवकी पुत्र एव एको मन्त्रस्तस्य नामानि यानि कर्माप्येकं तस्य देवस्य सेवा कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रिये वात् बुद्ध्यात्मना वात् प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि श्रीमन्नारायणायेति समर्पयामि ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Thank you, Dr. Ji.
Thank you.